I tracked every cost of my Tesla Model 3 for owning it for the last 2.5 years. I paid around 80,000 Canadian dollars back in 2022 when I bought it. It was peak pricing, so that was the price at that time that I paid. So in this video, let's see if buying a Tesla was worth compared to a similar price sedan. I could have bought a Mercedes C300, an Audi A4, or a BMW 3 or 4 series. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be getting a lot more EV content and deep dives in the future. So let's get started. So before diving into the cost, let's discuss why did I choose a Tesla over a similar priced car. I know there's so many good options in the market right now. There are amazing German cars that are available. They have some great features as well. They're decently safe. They look good, they have good amazing colors, similar price. But there were a few reasons that I had in mind when I picked up my Tesla. So overall, I wanted to make an eco-friendly decision. And what's better than buying an EV versus a gas-powered car? And that's a great thing about Teslas because it's fully electric, there are no emissions. Second thing is that I like tech. I've been following the tech industry for the last 10 plus years, and what better than buying a car that is full of tech? That's one of the key things that I like about the car. It's updated on a regular interval, it has so many features, it's safe, and almost every month you get a new feature. For example, every time there's a software update, Tesla tries to get a new feature enabled. When I picked up the car in 2022, it did not have blind spot monitoring. Now, every time I put the signal on left or right, there's a blind spot camera that shows up on the screen, which makes my life easy and it's safer as well. So what better than owning a Tesla that gets updated overnight? So when you buy a car, generally it's not an asset. So people tend to stay away from expensive cars because they depreciate in value. But overall, if you have an EV or if you have a Tesla, the good thing is that at least you save on gas. So the next thing is cost saving. If you compare it to a similar priced, let's say German cars, for example an Audi A4, there are two main things that comes top of mind. One is gas and the second thing is maintenance. The best thing is that for Teslas, there's none of these. You don't need to pay for gas. That's one of the best features. Second thing is that there's no maintenance. For my ownership for the last 2.5 years, I've done two main things. One is wiper fluid, which you have to replace for any car. Doesn't make a difference, be it a Tesla, be it a Toyota, be it an Audi, be it a Rolls-Royce. Second thing is similar, that are wiper blades. Generally, Tesla says you should replace your wiper blades every 6 months. I don't think there was a need for it. So I recently replaced wiper blades like a month and a half ago, and they were like 50 Canadian dollars, so not too expensive. 2.5 years, $50, and let's say $5 a gallon for washer fluid is nothing. The regular oil changes compared to regular brake servicing and so many other things. So overall, I think it helped me save a bunch of cash. So let's break down the real world cost of owning a Tesla. So the main cost when you're driving a car is the cost of charging. If you charge at home, it's not too pricey, it's fine, but if you rely on public chargers, it tends to add up. Be it superchargers, be it public chargers in your city, it tend to add up over time. I've spent around this much money over the last 2.5 years of owning my car, so I only supercharge my car when I'm on road trips, and whenever I'm at home, my charging is covered in my condo fee. This is how much I spend on a monthly basis if I was paying for electricity in Ontario. For example, the recent road trip that I did from Toronto to Boston, I paid around 650 Canadian dollars to go and come back. So let's see, how does it compare to owning a Mercedes or an Audi, a similar luxury sedan? Let's break down the cost. The second most expense that you have when you're driving a car is insurance. I did not own a car before my Tesla. I pay around $200 to $250 a month for insurance in Canada, Toronto. And if I owned an Audi or a Mercedes, my insurance would have been this much. If you see the totals, it adds up. So what I've heard from people in the US is that insuring a Tesla is more expensive than insuring a gas car, which I don't think is true in Canada. I have friends who have German cars like Audis, BMWs, Mercedes, and they pay a similar amount what I pay in the city. It could be a US versus Canada thing. From what I know, insurance in Canada is more expensive than in the US. Maybe that's why the companies in Canada don't tend to penalize Tesla owners, which I think is a good thing for us. Let's talk about maintenance. So I was saying before, maintaining a Tesla is not super expensive, and that's what Tesla claims as well. Of course, it can depend on different users, how they drive, where they are, road conditions, and so many multiple factors. See, I've done the basics: washer fluid, wipers, and tires. As I'm in Canada, I'm in Toronto, and it snows. I have to keep two sets of tires, summer tires / all season tires and winter tires. I don't tend to drive that much. My car has been driven roughly 39,000 kilometers in the last 2.5 years. Tires last around 50 to 80,000 kilometers, and as I have two sets, I think I'm good for the next couple of years. I've had minor concerns. For example, there was noise coming from one of the glass link was the driver's side, for which I had to pay a couple $100. I'll put the invoice on the screen right now, which was not covered in warranty for some reason. So the only concern I have except that was rattles from somewhere in the car, which was all covered under warranty. So overall, I've paid less than $500 in maintenance for my car for the last 2.5 years, which I think is a steal if we compare it to a German car. Just oil changes would be around $500 for 10 to 15,000 kilometers. So one pain point that a lot of Tesla owners have right now is resale value. So when I bought this car in 2022, I did check the resale value and prices were skyrocketing. Could be so many different reasons for it, but back in 2022, buying a new car was cheaper than buying a used car. So that's why I made this choice and bought a brand new car versus a used Model 3 or any other EV. But times have changed. It's 2025 now, and the resale market is not the best. Multiple factors could be affecting it. There's saturation of cars could be one. There are newer models in the market that could be the second one as well. But overall speaking, it hurts that a lot of Teslas have lost their value. And the good thing is that I bought this car brand new and I'm aiming to keep for the next so many years as well until I have to replace the car for some other reason. As of now, I'm keeping the car and you only hit depreciation when you sell the car. So I think I'm okay. It is not the best thing, but once you buy a new car, be it any car, you are bound to hit with depreciations. Let's get to the main point, the main question why you all are here. Buying a Tesla is actually a smart decision. I'll break down the cost of how much I actually spent on gas and maintenance for a Tesla and how much I would have spent for an Audi or a BMW or a similar price luxury sedan. So when I picked up my car, I paid around 78,000 Canadian dollars because of the extra paint and also because it was peak pricing back in 2022. Compared to an Audi, if I was buying a car at the same time, it would be around 2.5 years old and would cost around $50,000. I know in today's pricing the price could be lower, but back then it was around 50 to 55,000. The taxes depend on the price of the car. So for my Tesla it was around 10,000 and for a similar priced Audi would be around 6,500. Insurance, it's super close. The new Tesla was around 6,500 for 2.5 years, that is 30 months, and Audi would be similar around 7,000. Nothing crazy difference there. Here is the main part, maintenance and fuel cost. Maintenance was around $250, in which I replaced my air filters, I replaced my wiper blades, and some one-off changes for the wiper fluid. Compared to if it was an Audi or a similar priced car, it would be so expensive. It will be around $5,300. That will include oil changes, regular maintenance, and other things. Talking about fuel or charging, I paid roughly $1,700, including my charges on road trips and also day-to-day driving. And if I was driving a gas car, I would have paid higher than $5,500. I know gas pricing varies by city, state, time of year and everything. For now, I've kept it average to what we see on a regular day over the last 2.5-3 years and use that price to calculate my costs. So if we see the totals, if I include the cost of the car, I am in deficit of $22,800, which is a huge amount. But at the same time, if you look at maintenance, fuel cost and all other things, I've saved $9,300. I know if you only look at totals, it's more expensive to buy a Tesla, but over time, I bet it'll balance out. It's only 2.5 years of ownership, and by the time I reach 5 years, my savings would be higher than what I see right now. In the long run, it's always about the value of how much are you paying and what are you getting for the amount you're paying. So after 2.5 years, I still think it's a great decision that I made of buying a Tesla compared to a similar priced luxury sedan. But only if you're okay with the upfront costs. So if you found this video helpful, please click the subscribe button below, it helps a lot. If you're planning to buy a Tesla, you have to check out this video right here in which I tested full self-driving in Canadian winters. I've also dropped in the Tesla referral link in my video description. Click on the link today and get $2,500 off by buying a new Tesla. Also comment below if you'll buy a Tesla in 2025 after seeing this breakdown. See you in the next one.